Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya. What's up, y'all? Peace and blessings, my beautiful family, Drop Nation. Everybody that got the drop out there, you got the information, you're tuning in, you want it, so here we go. One, you know what I'm saying? I just want to give love to everybody that's, subscribing and doing all that kind of stuff. On the real, all that matters, man, is that we keep spreading the message, keep spreading it. You know what I'm saying? So I credit it, Let Us Find the Truth, Lex Will, Tyrone Street, all these guys, man, with great drop. There's many more. I'm just spreading their message as well. You know what I'm saying? So we're all working together here. It doesn't matter what people, don't agree with and all this kind of stuff. That's whenever you feel captured by that spirit of controversy, just know that, look, man, there are angels, lights, principalities working with us and against us. Just because we start opening our minds, then we got to start tearing each other down and tearing our information down. It's like, look, I'm throwing it up, man. Alley oop, reverse dunk that. You know what I'm saying? Dunk it. Do whatever you got to do. Research it. You don't agree with something, that's cool. All we're doing is raising the awareness of the information. Not saying that I got the drop on the information. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to put that out there, man, to everybody coming up. I don't got the drop. We got the drop. It's not about Kingdrop got the drop or 432 the drop. It's about gathering the information, gathering the people. When you go to the site and you see the health drop, science drop, you know what I'm saying, everything that's dropping on there, tech drop videos, whatever. We're just trying to gather the information, and most importantly, we're trying to gather the people that are interested in video games, you know what I'm saying, science, you know what I'm saying, short films, whatever we're featuring, the music, of course, all our great artists. We're trying to gather the people with all different interests just to come, you know what I'm saying, and have a resting place. A place just to say, hey, man, let me explore some information. This is not a debate platform, man. I care not about who wins debates. I don't care about that. It's just not in me to care about two people arguing about something and what comes out of it. But what's the solution? You know what I'm saying? What are we coming out with? Well, that's why I've been spreading Lex Will and all these other great brothers. I mean, there's a lot of great brothers, man. Khalil Saeed, man, you know what I'm saying? Kings of that brother, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm not playing politics. I'm just saying, if this information, if it makes sense, man, Let Us Find the Truth just dropped how Colorado, within Colorado, just like in Utah, there's all these biblical names. You got Lebanon in Colorado. You got in Montezuma County, which is connected right there, right by Moab, right by Mount Nebo, where Moses is buried, where we just dropped. So, look, I'm 36 years old. 4 kids, 6, 4, 3, and 1. My wife and I have been married 7 years, man. Shout out to Chef Candy, man, and everybody on Instagram giving love to her recipes. She cooks for the Most High. She cooks for the order. She cooks to, you know what I'm saying, get people salivating for the Most High, man. So shout out to Chef Candy. I've been through different walks of life, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my noops. Look, man, I got branded like a slave, man. You know what I'm saying? I was 19 and crazy, man. UC Davis and all that, and shout out to all my Kappas, all my all that kind of stuff. But we're just coming up, trying to cross bridges, man, trying to get from here to there. So now we're here. You did what you did, now you're here. You got your scars. You know what I'm saying? I got cross on my arm. My grandmother passed, and I said, hey, man, let me get a memorial. Got her name on it, Mary Miller. I wasn't into thinking that I'm doing some super Christian thing per se, but of course I was trapped in that mentality once. You know what I'm saying? So. These are different. These are my battle wounds. These are my battle scars. I got lots of them. Lots of battle scars, man. So what I'm trying to tell you is open your mind. It's okay to evolve. It's okay to come into something and say, let me use everything I got collectively stored up, to put into the energy of deciphering information, and most importantly, unlearning. Unlearning is the challenge. Learning is easy, man. Because you're really remembering. We're energy, right? So it's not, our mind might be trying to compute this. I got to mentally understand it, left brain. But you already know this drop. So for those that just get it, it's like, I didn't teach you nothing. Lex Will didn't teach me nothing. He just helped me remember. I'm just helping you remember. All these kings, man. You know, shout out to the kings that I build with on a daily basis, man. My brother, you know what I'm saying? My big bro, Political Mike out there in Vegas. Love to you, man. Love to all the family, my nephews and my beautiful young niece. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my mother. I build with my mother on a regular basis, man. Shout out to my mom. You know what I'm saying? My sister, everybody, man. Shout out to my wife, of course. Shout out to Ra the Great One, man. Me and this king been building, man, for decades, damn near. Decades, for real, actually. Decades. Ra. It's been decades, man. D Will, same thing, man. So this is what we do. We're here for you, and we're going to do it. So I want to add on to that. I want to show you something right quick. Actually, let me see if this makes sense. Actually, let me flip it this way. Hold on. I'm kind of new to this little situation here. All right, maybe I just got to do this thing. Hope you can see this. All right, let's see. I know there's another way to do this, but all right, I'm just gonna read it. That's kind of crazy. All right, cool. Biblical names of, you know what I can do? How about that? Forgot. All right, I'm back. You see that? Biblical names in Utah. You can freeze the, pause the camera, do what you got to do. Check that out. I'll put the link up. Actually, I put it up on the last video. Let's read off a few of these biblical names in Utah. Okay, cool. We saw Ephraim. We went there on Google Earth, right? Y'all was with me. If you didn't, go to the last video and you will see Benjamin, Enoch. We didn't even check those out, but you guys do it. Google Earth that. Find Benjamin, Enoch. Someone pointed out, you know what I'm saying, in one of the comments, how it's Naphtali, Nephi. Maybe. I like that. Of course, we got all the Zion National Parks and all this kind of stuff. And again, shout out to Let Us Find the Truth, who's showing us Lebanon in Colorado. So we got Lebanon right next to Moab. And then you got the rest of it. Ephraim. We had all the mountains, Mount Nebo, Pisgah. We had Gilead, Dan, which is now Daniel, right? What else do we got? We got, and this is what's crazy. When I looked here, especially with the drop, where Utah might be Yudah. Utah. They didn't change much, but dropped that T and changed it to a D, and you got the same Yudah. So we're like, where's Judah? We see Ephraim. Where's Judah? Utah. That could be the entire kingdom of Judah right there. Or at least a big chunk, right? And then we saw, oh yeah, this is when it gets really funny. Try to put it close. You can see right about there. Look right there. Zion National Park, all Israel, Judah. Why they say that? Zion Canyon, all Israel, Judah. And this is in the list. This is in a list of biblical names in Utah. And again, I'll put the link up for you. So I just want to follow that up, give you some drop on that. And we got a little bit of reading to do. So now you're going to see me talking fast. Because, I always heard people say, I don't want to make a long video. And now I get it, because it takes forever to load. So it's really a selfish thing. I'm being selfish. It's a few pages, so I'm going to go quick. This is out of a book entitled American Holocaust. And I'm sure somebody recommended that book to me, and I don't know exactly who it was. But it was a while back. I'll put the link up to the book. I'm trying to get the title for you so y'all can see it. Okay. I gotta go. Alright, well, I'll just do the cover page here. Alright, check this out. This gives you some drop into the actual logs of Cortez. We went through Columbus's logs. Now we're going to kind of look through Cortez's logs and some other of the Spaniards. David E. Stannard. Alright. Now let me go back to where I was. Okay. So, look. When I tell you that they found you here, You know what I'm saying? And when we say, okay, well, yeah, that's cool. Well, you know, we're indigenous everywhere. So what? You know what I'm saying? Well, by virtue, if most of us are here, there's two ways we can go with it. Either we give these people credit for having some supersonic ships crossing the Atlantic, which the Navy even today doesn't cross those waters like that. Even today don't take them particular slave trade, transatlantic slave passages. They go other ways, the Gulf Stream, they come back. There are other creative ways to travel now. They don't take them waters like that. So them wooden boats that, you know, we can't find anywhere. Maybe there's a couple preserved somewhere. But I'm trying to say there was a few people getting taken, you know what I'm saying, from Africa here. But a lot of us, this was the melting place to take us everywhere else. They were taking us from here mainly to Europe, Portugal, Spain, all the way around. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to get caught up in titles. I just want you to understand that for those that understand or believe within their energy that their family has been here for thousands of years, okay? For if that's what you feel, or if you just want to hear some cool stuff, check it out. So this is American Holocaust, David Stannard, and I'm just going to kick this off like this. It is gone now, all right? Drained and desiccated in the aftermath of the Spanish conquest. But once there was an interconnected complex of lakes high up in the Valley of Mexico that was as long and as wide as the city of London is today. If this ever gets too much for you, just pause it. Because now that you understand that they're talking about you, not no other people, yo black behind. You know what I'm saying? They're talking about you. Imagine your family that has not moved a freaking muscle, that did not get taken over here from nowhere, whose family was taken from here and brought elsewhere. This is for you. You need to know your history. And they never taught you this. Even when they didn't tell you who you were, they still never taught you this. This is why we got to do the digging. All right, so there's up in the Valley of Mexico that was as long and wide as the city of London. This was an interconnected complex of lakes. All right, let me just go, because I'll get too much. Surrounding these waters, known collectively as the Lake of the Moon, were scores of towns and cities whose population combined with that of the outlying communities of central Mexico and totaled about 25 million men, women, and children. This is just in Mexico. This is just the town that they're finding in Mexico, they're saying had 25 million men, women, and children. And they slaughtered most. Again, we are the descendants of the children. The children that were sold into these, you know, slaveries or whatever the case is, from here to the Caribbean or to Belize or to Angola. You understand? Or to Spain or Portugal and everywhere else. Okay, 25 million men, women, and children. On any given day, as many as 200,000 small boats move back and forth on the Lake of the Moon, pursuing the interests of commerce, political intrigue, and simple pleasure. The southern part of the Lake of the Moon was filled with brilliantly clear, spring-fed water. Excuse me. Allergies, I'm sorry. But the northern part, in the rainy season, became brackish and sometimes inundated the southern region with an invasion of destructive salty currents. So the people of the area built a 10-mile-long stone and clay masonry dike separating the lower third of the lake from the upper two-thirds, blocking the salt water when it appeared. But through an ingenious use of sluice gates, allowing the heavy water traffic of the lake on the lake to continue its rounds unobstructed by the massive levee wall. This southern part of the Great Lake thus became, as well as a thoroughfare, as immense freshwater fish pond. An immense freshwater fish pond. So when people rolled up on us, they found fresh water, bro. And sis, king and queen, whatever. Homies, homettes, family, loved ones, Drop Nation. They found fresh water. You pull up and you're in the ocean and you go up and you get off on the shore in the salt water. They pull up in fresh water. These motherfuckers never seen nothing like that before. Nowhere, okay? In the middle of this freshwater lake, part of the lake, there were 2 reed-covered mud banks that the residents of the area over time had built up and developed. Excuse me, I lost my place. Oh, there we go. All right, had built up and developed into a single huge island as large as Manhattan. And upon the island, the people built a metropolis that became one of the largest cities in the world, with a conventionally estimated population of about 350,000 residents by the end of the 15th century. This is this little city they're finding, right? Let's keep reading. This teeming Aztec, okay, so we're talking about the Aztecas, we know that, capital already had at least 5 times the population of either London or Seville, Spain, and was vastly larger than any other European city. Moreover, according to Hernando Cortés, one of the first Europeans to set eyes upon it, it was far and away the most beautiful city on earth. He came from the old world. He's seen the cities in the old world, and he's calling it the most beautiful city on earth, where your black behind is. The name of this magnificent metropolis was Tenochtitlan. Tenochtitlan. It's very interesting, man. You drop that T and you got Enoch. Land of Enoch? I don't know. It stood majestic and radiant in the crisp, clean air, 72,000 feet above sea level. Connected to the surrounding mainland by 3 wide causeways that had been built across miles of open water. To view Tenochtitlan from a distance, all who had the opportunity to do so was breathtaking. Before arriving at the great central city, travelers from afar had to pass through the densely populated, seemingly infinite surrounding lands, and already invariably they were overwhelmed, wrote Cortez's famous companion and chronicler, Bernal Diaz de Castillo, of their visit to one of the provincial cities at the confluence of Lake Chaco and Lake Cocomilco. Y'all look it up. Cocomilco. Starts with an X. This is what they're saying. This is from the logs of Cortez, directly from the logs of Cortez, his writings. When we entered the city of Iztapalapa, the appearance of the palaces in which they housed us! Exclamation mark! The appearance of the palaces! Exclamation mark. That was the end of the sentence. Like, God damn! When we went up there, the palaces! Exclamation mark. That's all I gotta say. This is how he started this. How he started it. When we entered the city of Iztapalapa, the appearance of the palaces in which they housed us. Next sentence. How spacious and well built they were, of beautiful stonework and cedar wood. Where else you find cedar? All throughout the Old Testament, all throughout these temples. Where they find cedar? Here, they found cedar here. Here's where the cedar is. And the wood of the other sweet scented trees, with great rooms and courts, wonderful to behold, covered with awnings of cotton cloth. When we had looked well at all of this, we went to the orchard and garden, which was such a wonderful thing to see and walk in, that I was never tired of looking at the diversity of the trees and noting the scent which each one had. He found a garden with a bunch of trees in it that he never seen before? I don't know. I'm just saying. And noted the scent of each one had, and the paths full of roses and flowers, and the native fruit trees and native roses, and the pond of fresh water, there was another thing to observe. The great canoes were able to pass into the garden from the lake through an opening that had been made so that there was no need for their occupants to land. They didn't even have to land on the shore. They can just go from the freshwater ocean into the city. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. There was another thing to observe. I said, there's no need for them to land. And all was cemented and very splendid, with many kinds of stone monuments with pictures on them, which gave much to think about. Then the birds of many kinds and breeds which came into the pond, I say again that I stood looking at it and thought that never in the world would there be discovered lands such as these. I'm not making this up, people. These are Cortez's writings about your land when they just pulled up on it a few hundred years ago and found your ass here. Sorry, I get a little upset. I know these is my people. And if you feel the same way I do, then you know these is your people too. Excuse me. Alright, so y'all see, like, this is the view, hold up, of my little balcony, man. This is the home behind the home. But it gets like real windy and a lot of trees, all that kind of stuff. So, hey, I don't want to confuse y'all. My allergies be kicking out here. All right, so let me read the last part. It says, then the birds of many kinds and breeds which came into the pond, I say again that I stood looking at it and thought that never in the world would there be discovered lands such as these. He came from Africa, Asia, and Europe. It was a new world to them. And they said, never in the world that we come from, you know what I'm saying, would there be discovered anything like this, man. The palaces. They taught y'all, man, that they came and found savages, and we taught them how to do some stuff, and then they just killed us. We dropped, and Lex Will pointed out in his joint that we dropped on that document, you know what I'm saying, shout out again to Let's Find the Truth. You know what I'm saying, that, you know, it took them 8 months to capture the Holy City. Look again and download that document, man, from that Columbus drive with the Holy City. It took them 8 months to capture Jerusalem here. And what I'm telling you here is that they're saying never in the world would there be discovered anything like this in the entire world. In their own writing, Cortez. Impressive as Iztapalapa was, the Spanish were seeking the heart of this great empire, so they pressed on. So they wanted the meat of things, man. They wanted the real thing. In addition to the cities that surrounded the Lake of the Moon, other towns like Tenochtitlan built on smaller islands within it. As they neared the area that would take them to Tenochtitlan, that's where they wanted to go, Bernal Diaz wrote, another conquistador, when we saw so many cities and villages built in the water and other great towns built on dry land, and that straight and level causeway going towards Tenochtitlan, we were amazed and said it was like the enchantments they tell of in the legends of Amadis, Atlantis. You could also research that when they stumbled on Haiti, they called that Atlantis. And some people will have a map that shows whatever that missing piece of land, as some people call Atlantis, whatever the case is, you know, might be a landmass that is missing in between what we call the Americas and what we call Africa. There's something, a big landmass that used to be in between these two that connect all these things perfectly. And maybe that's why the waters are so rough going from Africa here over the Atlantis Ocean, to get to Atlantis, where Atlantis might be buried underneath. That might be, you know. If I find that link, I'll put it up too. But you can look it up, check it out yourself. And this is what Diaz wrote. When we saw so many cities and villages built in the water and other great towns built on dry land, and that straight and level causeway going towards Tenochtitlan, We were amazed and said that it was like the enchantments they tell of in the legends of Amadis, on account of the great towers and temples and buildings rising from the water, and all built of masonry. All built of masonry. This is what he says. And some of the soldiers, some of our soldiers, even asked whether the things we saw were not a dream. They thought they was dreaming, man. If you do believe that, we were great ones and that we have lineages and seeds and different things like this, and, that which, speaks through me is that of being, of the seed of that which they call King David, you know what I'm saying? The seed of that which they call Enoch, the seed of these particular, this lineage, I believe the Creator has an energetic signature on this particular, in this system that we're in. He has a signature, and that signature is an encoding. We're waking up to it. Look, I give a lot of credit to wherever I get it. 2-3 years ago, my wife will tell you, I went from like 0 to 100. Like one day I was just watching MTV and I'm a writer. I enjoy writing, so writing some script, working on some novel that I'm trying to put together, something like that. And one day I switched all that off and just started researching. And I knew whatever the title was that I was being, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. But it just, I didn't watch no video and then say, that's interesting. Maybe I might be. No one had to convince me. And it wasn't, I was done with Christianity at 17 years old. So I'm talking about 2 or 3 years ago. I'm 36. I'm talking about damn near 20 years that I was just not messing with anything to do with the Bible, religion, nothing. And I'm still not pushing, no religion or nothing. I'm just reading what Bernal Diaz is writing and Cortez is writing. And I'm linking that up with the concrete. Shout out to Divine Prospect, Minority Report. I'm linking that up to who was already here. And I'm saying they're speaking to the people that were already here. And it sounds like they're thinking that we're the people of Atlantis. They're thinking they're dreaming. They're walking through gardens with these trees they've never seen and fresh fruit, like it's Eden. I don't necessarily think it, but I'm saying it sounds like that, or something that's connected to that particular garden, or close to it. Whatever it is, it's over here. It ain't over there, because they thought they was in Eden over here, and they thought they was in Atlantis over here. This is why they call it this enchantment, this land of enchantments. This is what, you are the people they were reading about. You are the people that when they say their forefathers, they're talking about the Romans and the Vikings and all these people like that told them and wrote these fables about times they stumbled on us. But they didn't try to, well, obviously the Romans, we know the history. And you can find the Roman artifacts here. And shout out to, again, one of, the subscribers leaving a great comment, about the Roman artifacts here. So, was Rome here? Is it all here? This is where we're trying to link all this together. Obviously, we know Rome is Rome, but clearly they came here, and clearly there's artifacts here. So clearly they were, could this be the Jerusalem that even they came and seized in 70 AD? Has it been here the whole time, or is it another Jerusalem? And this, what I'm saying? I don't know. It could be that, it could be that. I'm not giving you a definite. You're just building with me, and I'm grateful for that. And keep leaving those comments so I can keep understanding myself. I'm not looking for, some magic key or nothing like that. I'm just looking to spread the energy and for you to spread it back. I come at you with nothing but, love and hope, you know what I'm saying? And I don't care about disagreeing with nobody. It's not really my platform, my thing. I got 4 kids. I got things to do, man. Real talk. All right, so, and some of our soldiers even asked whether the things they saw were not a dream. Finally, they reached one of the causeways leading directly to Tenochtitlan. They pushed their way across it, although it was so crowded with people that there was hardly room for them all. some of them going to and others returning from Tenochtitlan, said Bernal Diaz. Once in the city itself, they were greeted by the Aztec ruler Montezuma, and taken to the top of one of the temples. And from that vantage point, they were afforded an almost aerial view of the surroundings through which they had just marched. And this is what they said. One could see over everything very well, Bernal Diaz wrote. And we saw the three causeways which led into Tenochtitlan. That is the causeway of Iztapalapa, by which we had entered 4 days before, and saw that Tacuba and that Tipaquila, and we saw the fresh water that comes from Chapultepec, which supplies the city, and we saw the bridges of the three causeways which were built in certain distances apart, from which the water of the lake flowed in and out from one side to the other. And we beheld on that great lake a great multitude of canoes, some coming with supplies of food, and others returning with cargoes of merchandise. And we saw that from every house of the great city and of all the other cities that were built in the water, it was possible to pass from house to house. So these people were like living like Venice. Hold that thought. Except by drawbridges, which were made of wood or in canoes. And we saw in those cities temples and oratories like towers and fortresses. This is why they thought they was dreaming, yo. Shit. Man, I haven't read this in a minute, so I'm kind of blown away. All right, like towers and fortresses, and all gleaming white. This is their logs, man. It's just not like, who wrote the Bible? We know who wrote this. This is documented. But who were they talking about? And this is what the new information is linking it together. All gleaming white, and it was a wonderful thing to behold. About 60,000 pale stucco houses filled the island metropolis, some of them single-story structures, some of them multi-story, and all these houses, wrote Cortez, have very large and very good rooms, and also very pleasant gardens, and various sorts of flowers, both on the upper and lower floors. The many streets and boulevards of the city were so neat and well swept, despite its multitude of inhabitants, that the first Europeans to visit never tired of remarking on the city's cleanliness and order. They came way over here to find order. They came way I told you I'm gonna go toss this shit over the that the first my bad, I'm kind of crazy, my bad. That the first Europeans to visit never tired of remarking of the city's cleanliness and order. It was so clean they had to keep writing about it every damn time. It was so full of order they had to keep remarking on it. Where do you go in the world that you see such order that you have to write it down? Like, I can't believe how clean this is. Can you imagine seeing something that is so clean that you're like, I got to write about how clean this is? You know what I'm saying? When's the last time you felt that way? You know? Imagine walking into your house and it's so spotless that you're like, man, I gotta tell, you know, my wife, I gotta tell the kids, thank you, man. Like, this is spotless. You know, obviously we keep a clean house, but imagine it being so clean that you're like, stop, everybody, come on over, electronics off. Thank you, guys. This is beautiful. This house is spotless, I tell you. So, microcosm, macro, this is what they saw as a whole, in the whole city, cleanliness, order. It was spotless. This is what Cortez is saying. There were even officials in charge of sweeping, recalled one of the awed observers. In fact, at least 1,000 public workers were employed to maintain the city's streets and keep them clean and watered. This is what they found here. Alright? So when you look at the 1828 Merriam-Webster dictionary, you look for American and you say it says copper colored races. This is what they found here, that they had to put that in the dictionary. Hold up. Alright, so this is what they found here. Alright, that these people had such order, over 1,000 people were employed to maintain the city streets. This is how Montezuma was already running things, with order. Why are we in chaos today when we had order then? You know what I'm saying? Why do I gotta pay $2,000 plus to live in an apartment? You know what I'm saying? I don't own a home. You know, I'm trying to save up to get a home. But how can I save up? I gotta pay, obviously. I need to downgrade, clearly. I gotta do something, right? But whatever we gotta do to keep up with the Joneses, whatever we gotta do, why do we have to do these things when they was looking and they said, man, we saw houses from house to house. Where's this part? Hold up. Oh, multi-storied, and all these houses, wrote Cortez, had a very large and very good rooms and was very pleasant gardens of various sorts with flowers on both upper and lower floors. So each house had upstairs, downstairs, gardens, you know what I'm saying, all this kind of stuff. That's how we were all living. And we are all now, you know, just trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like, oh man, look at P. Diddy's house. We all had that. We were sharing it. We weren't trying to outdo one another. Everything we did was for the whole. Now we do it for ourselves. Who taught us that? We are the children. Our parents were murdered. Crisscrossed with a complex network of canals, Tenochtitlan, in this respect, reminded the Spaniards of an enormous Venice. Read the book. Click the link. We said Venice. This is what they saw. They saw an enormous Venice. But it also had remarkable floating gardens that reminded them of nowhere else on earth. Floating gardens that reminded them of nowhere else on earth. Gardens. Floating. I know. And while European cities then, and for centuries thereafter, took their drinking water from the fetid and polluted rivers nearby, Tenochtitlan's drinking water, came from springs deep within the mainland and was piped into the city by a huge aqueduct system that amazed Cortez and his men. Fresh water coming from within the mainland. Wow. That amazed Cortez and his men, just as they were astonished also by the personal cleanliness and hygiene of the colorfully dressed populace. These colorfully dressed people were so clean themselves, and their hygiene was so amazing. They knew nothing about hygiene before they found us a few hundred years ago. Believe that. I'm not knocking, I'm just saying, why would they be amazed at anybody's cleanliness if they were clean? I'm just trying to connect those things. Of the colorfully dressed populace, and by their extravagant, to the Spanish, use of soaps, deodorants, and breath sweeteners. To the Spanish, it was an extravagant thing to use soap and breath sweetener and deodorant. They said, we're just going to do what it do. All right, so this is new to them. We taught them about deodorants, soap, all that, and it's right here in their book. You have to click that link. In the distance, across the expanse of shimmering blue water that extended out of every direction and beyond the pastel-colored suburban towns and cities, both within the lake and encircling its periphery, the horizon, here we go, we're almost there, was ringed with forest-covered hills except to the southeast, where there dramatically rose up the slopes of two enormous snow-peaked and smoldering volcanoes, and the largest of them, Popocatépetl, reaching 16,000 feet into the sky. And at the center of the city, facing the volcanoes, stood two huge and exquisitely ornate ceremonial pyramids. Exquisitely ornate ceremonial pyramids. Man-made mountains. Man-made mountains of uniquely Aztec construction and design. But what seems to have impressed the Spanish visitors most about the view of Tenochtitlan from within its precincts were not the temples or the other magnificent public buildings, but rather the marketplaces that dotted the residential neighborhoods and the enormous so-called Great Market that sprawled across the city's northern end. So they had a great marketplace that they'd never seen anything like where they came from. And let's read about it. This area, which arcades all around, according to Cortez, was the central gathering place where more than 60,000 people come each day to buy and sell. 60,000 people a day. You think the Grove is somewhere special? Huh? Caruso affiliates and all these marketplaces you see around your house. Where'd they get that from? Where'd they get that concept from here? How do they know that works? How do they know how to order it a certain way? Oh, you think they just got some bomb-ass layout? They learned how to do all this. This is mastery. This is masterful thinking here. They found it here. These savages, we're going to take their land. Remember the dumb diverses, subjugate the pagans and enemies of Christ. These people didn't know Christ. They knew the Creator. And the ones that knew the Creator and fell off from that. Then they got to wake back up one day. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Yeah, they were doing some ill-ass stuff. Ill-ass shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, can we deny that even in their fallen state, if we want to see it that way, you know what I'm saying, even in the state that we found them, or that they found us, I'm reading like I'm them now, even in the state they found us, these people still were living in paradise. So it made me stop for a second and say, I believe that there's laws and rules, just like every kingdom has laws and rules. This corporation of America has laws and rules, and we follow them. We pay taxes without any proof of taxes being a legal thing, a statute, and it being an American, like the Vatican, everything's all confusing, but we still do it. Yet we talk about the laws of the one that created this place, and then we get locked into a religion. Not just, okay, here's the rules to the playground. I'm going to give you the playground. Here's the rules. I made this just for you. Everyone else could play too, but it's yours. But here's the rules, though. No fighting, no spitting on people and kicking people in the head, don't do that stuff. Here's the rules. And don't call another daddy. Don't call another source your source. You have a connection to me straight up. You don't have to go any other way. Let them try to figure that out. Let the heathen try to figure that out. You come to me. I'm your father. I know you. Here's my rules. You know what I'm saying? Even when we neglected to do that as a people, to put us in our low state, we went our own ways, went after the ways of false gods and idols and all these other things. And I ain't no preacher, I'm just saying. Clearly, you look around. We're in a sad state of disregard. They had to drop on us. Why? Because we left order. And we are regaining that today. And they came here and they found what? Order, even in our fallen state. We were in paradise. Our Father loves us so much, they were still found us in fresh water and temples and paradise and gold in the 1500s. Here. And they've been trying to take it all since. And we're all descendants of that which they were called. And you know who I'm talking to. You know what I'm saying? We were called Aztecs. We were called Mayans. We were called... None of these people called themselves these titles. They were all... You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand, who's your father? Who do you connect to? That's up to you. Do you believe this and that? That's up to you. Was Cortez writing? That's what I'm sharing with you. You know what I'm saying? Was Castillo writing? That's what I'm sharing with you. Was Columbus writing? That's what I'm sharing with you. What's the drop? That's what I'm sharing, man. Deal with it or get left on. You already know. All right, so let's finish this out. All right, so they got the Great Market that sprawled across the city to the northern end. This area, which arcades them all. All right, so 60,000 people come. So they're selling. Listen to what they. All right. Every kind of merchandise produced in these lands is found provisions as well as ornaments of gold, silver, lead, brass, copper, tin, stone, shells, bones, feathers. Cortez also describes special merchandise areas where timber and tiles and other building supplies were bought and sold, along with much firewood and charcoal, and building supplies, firewood and charcoal, earthenware, braziers, and mats, and various kinds of mattresses for beds and other finer ones for seats and for covering rooms and hallways. Each kind of merchandise is sold in its own street without any mixture whatsoever, Cortez wrote. They were very particular in this, so there was order in everything they sold, the mattresses. You thought these were savages. They were selling designer mattresses in the middle of fresh water and palaces. All right. I know. Pause it if you got to. Pause it if you have to. All right. Each kind of merchandise is sold in its own street without any mixture, so we have order. They're very particular in this. Even entertainers had a residential district of their own, says Bert. They had an entertainment district. You know, Sammy D, Coltrane. They had entertainers. They had their own district for it. They said, this is where we're going to go get some of that music, that dance, that art. Whatever they did, the talents were on the full display. In order, it wasn't mixed up. Had a district of their own, said Bernal Diaz, a place where they lived a great many people who had no other occupation than to be dancers. That was their job. And the people supported them. And others who used stilts on their feet, like a circus, right? And others who flew when they danced up in the air, like flips and stuff. And others like Mary Andrews clowns, clowns. There were streets where herbalists plied their trade. So people that were into the herbs of all kinds went at a whole district, man, where they say, yo, you know what I'm saying? This is my herb. This is my tea. You need this for your health. You need this for healing. That was the doctor. That was the medical district. Amazing. All right. And there were streets where herbalists plied their trade. Areas for apothecary shops and shops for barbers. Barbers had their shops. All right. Almost. Where they had their hair washed and shaved, and shops where they would sell food and drink, wrote Cortez, as well as green grocery streets, where one could buy every sort of vegetable, especially onions, leeks, garlics, common cress, watercress, boards, sorrels, tessels, and artichokes. There are many sorts of fruit, among which are cherries and plums, like those in Spain. There were stores and streets that specialized in game and birds of every species found in this land: chickens, partridges, quails, wild ducks, flycatchers, widgeons, turtle doves, pigeons, cane birds, parrots, eagles, and eagle owls, and falcons, sparrow hawks, kestrels as well, rabbits and hares, stags, and small gelded dogs, which they bred for small gelded dogs, which they bred for eating. So there are people eating dogs. I told you, these people weren't perfect, but hey, this is how it was. Some people, not everybody was eating this and doing this, but you had people that ate dogs, and if you needed to eat a dog, there were dogs bred for you to eat. Now again, we know how that stands with us and our Creator, as far as we understand it, but we understand that everybody here wasn't rocking with these particular things, man. So this is all what it is. I'm giving you the real skinny. All right? I'm not butter, sugar coating nothing. I'm giving it to you raw. All right. So there was so much more in this mercantile center, overseen by officials who enforced laws of fairness regarding weights and measures and the quality of goods purveyed, that Bernal Diaz said, "We were astounded at the number of people and the quality of merchandise that it contained, and at the good order and control that is contained, for we had never seen such a thing before." Never seen it. Order. Like this, should I say. I'm not going to say they never seen that, you know what I'm saying, with our brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, of course, in Africa, you know what I'm saying, with so-called Africa and, you know, the kingdoms there and all this kind of stuff like that. I'm just saying I'm coming from where we're at right here, and that we're here, and the majority here are descendants of those from here, and they're saying, coming from there, or at least from Spain, I'm not saying they're comparing this with anywhere else, you know what I'm saying, as far as our brothers and sisters, our melanated brothers and sisters, but from where they're from, where they're coming from, I'll say specifically in Europe, they've never seen no order. So let me clarify that, because I don't want my brother to be like, "What you trying to say? There ain't no order in Africa, brother? Come on, brother. Hotep." Hotep my allergies away, man. Nah, man, love to you. Love to everybody, man. You already know. So they were astounded, all right, that all this was happening. They had never seen something like this before. There were honeys and honey paste and other dainties like nut paste, waxes, syrups, chocolate, sugar, wine. In addition, said Cortez, there are so many sorts of spun cotton in hanks of every color, and it seems like the silk market at Granada, except here. It seems like the silk market at Granada. So we have our other brothers and sisters in the Americas that have a similar thing just like this. So it seems like that. Except here, there is much greater quantity. So this was the main one. This was the great market. Everyone in the Americas came here and knew the order here was established for the entire new world, or our entire, you know what I'm saying, land. Our land knew where the great market was. Our people knew where the great market was, even if you lived far away on an island. Even if you lived in Grenada, you knew, okay, this is a, you know what I'm saying, subsidiary market, but we knew where the great market was. Where we at? It says, at last Cortez surrendered the task of trying to describe it all. Besides those things which I have already mentioned, they sell in the marketplace everything else to be found in this land, but there are so many and so varied that because of their great number and because I cannot remember many of them, nor do I know what they are called, I cannot mention them, added Bernal Diaz. But why do I waste so many words in recounting what they sell in the great market? For I shall never finish if I tell it in detail. Some of the soldiers among us, who have been in many parts of the world, in Constantinople and all over Italy and in Rome, said that so large a marketplace and so full of people and so well regulated and arranged they had never beheld before. Again, it came from their great temples in Europe, and they're saying here, man, even the people that have been traveling have never seen nothing like this before. And this was only the market. The rest of Tenochtitlan overflowed with gorgeous gardens, arboretums and aviaries, arboretums and aviaries. Artwork was everywhere. Listen up with this. This is crazy. Everywhere. Artwork so dazzling in conception and execution that when the German master Albrecht Dürer saw some pieces that Cortez brought back to Europe, he exclaimed that he had never, quote, never seen in all my days what so rejoiced my heart as these things. For I saw among them amazing artistic objects, and I marveled over the subtle ingenuity of the men in these distant lands. Indeed, I cannot say enough about the things that were brought before me. And this is from the German master of art, Albrecht Dürer. He never seen art like this before. Why did everybody see this say, I've never seen stuff like this before? Why they call it the Atlanteans and think that they're in some fable? They thought they were dreaming. Wake up, people. Wake up. That's it. That's all I can tell you. If architectural splendor and floral redolence were among the sights and smells that most commonly greeted a stroller in the city, the most ever-present sound, apart from the murmur and hum of voices from the mercantile district, which Bernal Diaz said, could be heard more than a league off, were the songs of many multicolored birds, parrots, hummingbirds, falcons, jays, herons, owls, condors, and dozens of other exotic species. They found the most exotic stuff here. They said, oh, they didn't have camels in America, so they must come from Africa. They didn't have this in America, so they had everything in America, man. Wake up. Everything. Everything. And dozens of other species who lived in public aviaries that the government maintained, as Cortez wrote to his king, most powerful lord, in order to give an account to your royal excellency of the magnificence, the strange and marvelous things of this great city, and the dominion of wealth of this Montezuma. Oh, Lord. Almost powerful king of Spain. Who's he writing to? Ferdinand? And who? Isabella. All right, let's take it home. So I can take some knockoff Benadryl or something. All right, where we at? Boom. Most powerful Lord. I mean, this is what they're saying to their king. In order to give an account to your royal excellency of the magnificent, the strange and marvelous things of this great city, and of the dominion and wealth of Montezuma, its ruler, and of the rights and customs of the people, and of the order there is in the government of the capital. They said we're savages. They roll back to the Pope. Savages are here. Enemies of Christ. Kill them all. They don't believe in his cross and his Christ. Kill them all. Meanwhile, they're writing this. The customs of the people. Not just the customs of the people. The great city and the dominion of the wealth of Montezuma. Man, in order to give you an account of the wealth of this man and this great city, its ruler, and of the rights, and of the customs, and of the order. We keep going back to order. What does the Most High keep saying? Order. What is the energy, the vibration, the frequency? Order. We're getting back to order. We can't just do everything we want to do because we say we want to do it. That's not order. Somebody taught you wrong. Look around. We don't have this stuff no more, right? But they found it when they got here. We're out of order. Return to order. Is that religious? Return to order? Look up to your Creator? And just say, thank you. I've returned to your order that you have created. This is the drop. This is what they found here. And they brought you something else, another package to hijack you away from ever looking this stuff up, to know who you are, to know your relationship to the Creator is real. And this is where he had you. It's 4 times harder to get here from Africa, from that region, coming over Spain, all that Canary Islands, coming over that harsh water, that something's buried underneath. It's very rough. It's 4 times harder than for us to take that Gulf Stream all the way up. You don't have to paddle a boat after a while. The stream's going to take you. So we were exploring the rest of the world before they found us. It's 4 times harder to find us here. Doesn't it sound like the Creator will make it 4 times harder to reach his people? It's 4 times easier. This is according to their, maritime, stuff. I can give you those documents all day. This is true. It's 4 times easier for us to explore Africa than it is for Africa to explore us. It's 4 times easier for us to explore Spain and Europe and Asia than for Asia to explore us. I'm saying we migrated at some point, perhaps thousands of years ago. I'm down with that. The Aztec migration makes a lot of sense. And there was migrations probably, before that. There had to be some of us here probably before that too, And before that, and before that, and before that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You go back 100,000 years, that's fine. I'm just saying you were here before they dropped you off in a boat. That is my point to you. And they gave you things when they invaded your land. These people, some people call them Assyrians, some people call them just this and this and that. I don't care about the titles. You know what I'm talking about. And they gave you this stuff. They hijacked your energy, your frequency. They made you think about Kardashians and just the murder. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was tragic. And they put us in slavery on our own soil, which is why Martin Luther King says the Negro, you know what I'm saying, is, finds himself a stranger on his own land. I already read you the Frederick Douglass joint saying the native land of the American Negro is America. His bones, his sinew is American. Your leaders are saying you're American. You're thinking they talking about United States. Finish this off. And the government of the capital, as well as the other cities of Montezuma's dominion. The orderer. I would need much time and many expert narrators. I cannot describe 100th part of all the things which could be mentioned, but as best I can, I will describe some of those things I have seen, which, although badly described, will I well know, be so remarkable as not to be believed. Like King, oh powerful, they call him Lord, oh powerful Lord King, Portugal, King of Portugal, Ferdinand and Isabella, King of Spain, Spain and Portugal. You're not even gonna believe this shit if I tell you. You gotta see it for yourself. This is what Cortez wrote back. This is what Columbus wrote back. They all wrote back. Y'all gotta see this for yourself. Matter of fact, I'm gonna bring some of them from here to y'all, because you ain't never really seen nothing like this before. I mean, I know, you know what the Egypt is, all that stuff is, and the Asia stuff, and maybe these people came from Asia, and maybe this is this, maybe this. But we don't know. We gotta write inquiries. I got a little book, this thing called The Inquiry into the Indigenous. It's an inquiry into, I'll get it. The Inquiry into the Native Aboriginal something. I'll get it for you. But it's an inquiry, and it's published in the Boston Society, 73. And they published the essay in the Boston Society, and they had it published because it was an inquiry into where the freak these people came from. I'm trying to be cool. I know I got my little nephews and people watching. I want you to be able to listen to this, even though if I was talking to you personally, I'd be going ham bone right now. Ham bone. I'd be going crazy. Because I know, I got my youngsters and I want them to be able to turn on, and, you should be able to cook a meal and listen to this drop. So I'm trying to, do that. I'm just trying. Everybody's at different places. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. I can't describe 100th part of all the things which could be mentioned, but as best as I can, I will describe some of those things I have seen, which, although badly described, will I well know, be so remarkable as not to be believed. For we who saw them with our own eyes could not grasp them with our understanding. Get with it or get left on. Check out this book. I'll leave a link. I can keep going, obviously, but it's been about an hour. So I love y'all. Stay up, choose up, suit up. I'll be back always, man, as much as I can. We don't know what's going to happen. Some people say the dollar's dropping. Some, it probably is. Buy some shekels of silver. Buy some food and water. You need to gear up. You need to have something, packed up in case you do have to go. If you don't want to go this way, go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? We don't all have to agree on this and this. Yeah, there's a lot of drop in Utah. There's a lot of drop in that. I'm open to that. I'm also open to, really, keeping, my spirit, finely tuned and open into, if there's another way, So we can't just close one thing because one thing makes sense. We have to truly see the whole puzzle, the whole picture to understand where we need to be, where we need to go, how we need to strategically be together. I'm not talking about fighting nobody and rioting in the streets. That's the trap. I'm talking about uniting. And being together, being a tribe again. It's eventually that's where we're gonna have to go. I don't have the answers to that. I don't got the blueprint to that. You know what I'm saying? We all are coming together with that drop. So keep it coming. Keep commenting. Love y'all. Stay up. And we'll be back, man. This is that Columbus drop. This is your drop. This is your real thing, man. They thought they were dreaming when they found you. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, know that you're a dream to them. You're a dream to them. So they've created an illusion for you. At 432 to drop, we're getting off their frequency. Whatever you want to choose, man. Get off that radio frequency. You know what I'm saying? We'll have our live stream back up, our shows going again so that we can keep that going. But, man, tune your music to 432, something on that harmonic scale. You know what I'm saying? We enjoy the clarity of it. You know what I mean? Keep dropping that. You know what I mean? Keep dropping your drop. Keep dropping your drop, man. As you can see, I'm excited for y'all to keep learning and, keep being energetic, keep coming back with more. So I love y'all, man. Stay up.